So today we're going to be talking about best practices for getting an Uber or Lyft as a passenger and being a driver when driving on game day or different events going on in your area. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. On this channel we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. But before we get started, if you have a crazy Uber Lyft experience, whether you're a passenger or a driver, record it, send it my way, and maybe we could feature you in the channel. Alright, so it's game day today. At least for professional football. So today we're going to actually be talking about best practices for when it comes to being a passenger and a driver for different events and things that are going on in your area that are larger, that may have pickup zones and drop-off zones, and then kind of what to do and some things to remember when being a passenger and ordering an Uber Lyft for an event, or being a driver and driving the event. All right, we're going to cover the pickup tips and drop-off tips and all that good stuff for the passengers first. So if you want to see what I have to say for driving side, you can fast forward or continue watching this, whatever you decide. But we're going to cover the passenger side first. All right, so yes, we're going to talk about the passenger side now first. And first we want to talk, why is Uber and Lyft good to take to events and different special events that might be going on, whether it's sporting, whether it's a play, whatever it might be. First of all, there's many different reasons, but we're only just going to cover a couple right now that I feel are the big ones. So if you fall into these few categories, Uber and Lyft are going to be the best option for you. So first off, if you're going to an event and you're going to be drinking, don't get behind the wheel. Be smart. Use an Uber or Lyft to make sure that you get home safe after those few drinks. So if you want to drink and go have a good time, and then you don't want to worry, make sure you order an Uber and Lyft. Much better. Also, you just don't have to worry about parking, the cost of it, and the driving, the waiting, and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about the stresses. Let the driver deal with that. It's going to cost you a little bit with the ride, but you know what? You don't have to worry about certain things when it comes to parking, getting your car dinged up, all this possible stuff that could happen when you're driving yourself. So some things to remember if you are using Uber and Lyft for the game. First, we're going to start with when you're going to the event. So when you're getting either picked up at your house, a friend's house, restaurant, whatever you might be doing beforehand and actually heading to the event, that's what we're going to talk about. And then when you get picked up at the event after it's over, we're going to cover that in just a minute. So first off, remember, plan ahead. So know where there's pickup zones or drop-off zones, just so you know that if you're getting dropped off and there's a drop-off zone, you know where it is in conjunction to where the event is actually happening. So if you need to walk a certain distance, you'll know exactly where you have to go and about how long. So, plan ahead, plan accordingly when you want to leave and when you want to get to the actual event itself. So then order when you're ready and just wait for the ride. Because usually it won't be too long, as a normal Uber and Lyft is. But yeah, just make sure you plan ahead for that. Also remember, if your area has a drop-off zone or drop-off zones at a particular venue, event, arena, or stadium, don't try to modify the drop-off. You're going to be dropped off at whatever zone it's supposed to be. So if you have multiple zones for an event or an arena or a stadium, make sure you know which one you want to go to so you don't go to the wrong one just in case. But like I said, do not try to modify it. Now, if you fall under ADA, if you have disabilities or anything like that, that's going to be a little bit different. So just inform your driver that you have ADA or that you're ADA, that you have a disability, and you need to be dropped off to the event at a closer spot. So if it does have a drop-off zone, that is when the drop-off zone won't really matter too much, because like I say, most drop-off and pickup zones are further away, meaning you have to walk. But again, if you have ADA or you're ADA compliant, if you are just somebody with disability and you need to be dropped off, usually you can get dropped off right in front of the venue, the event, the arena, stadium, whatever it is. is. So just inform the driver and let them know that you do fall under that category, so then they can make sure they get you to the right spot. Also, another thing to remember, things with alcohol. Do not try to bring alcohol into the car that's opened and able to be consumed in the vehicle. Don't do it because it's not allowed in just about every single area, and Lyft doesn't allow it, period. So do not try to bring alcohol in if it's an open container. If it's closed, that's fine. Just do not put it into the car. And if you have alcohol, easiest thing to do is put it in the trunk and then drink it when you get there. Have some fun, especially when you go tailgating at any of the major sporting events. So those are just a few things to remember when going to the event. Now let's talk about pickups after the event. First off, remember this major thing, that there's going to be thousands or up to even close to 100,000 people leaving the event at the same time. So you really want to make sure that you realize that it's not just about you, but there's a lot of people all around that are also going and wanting to be picked up by Uber or Lyft, or have their own cars, or just creating a havoc of a mess because there's a lot of people leaving the area all around the same time. So just remember to keep that in the back of your mind. Also, again, like I said from before, know where your pickup zone is for that event, for that arena, for that stadium, whatever it is. So if it does have a pickup zone, which most major sporting events and arenas and stadiums do have, smaller events might not. But the large events absolutely will. So you just need to know where it is. So you could do a simple Google search. You could even open up the app and see where the pickup zone is when you're ordering a ride. You can see where it is. So then that way you just know where you got to walk to and all that good stuff. But do not order the ride until you get to the actual pickup zone. And the reason for that is some places the driver will actually be sitting and waiting in the pickup zone, waiting for a ride, if that's allowed. And if you order the ride and you're 10, 15 minutes away, still trying to walk there or getting caught up in something, the driver only has to wait 5 minutes, and then they're going to cancel the ride and get the next ride that comes in. So order the ride when you're at the pickup zone, or you see the pickup zone, you're almost right there, but do not order it when you're leaving the event or even in the event still itself. Just because, like I say, with that 5-minute window, if they're already there, then you could be SOL and have to reorder a ride. And if the driver is not at the pickup zone yet, just remember, wherever the driver gets pinged, there could be a lot of people that are leaving, so it's going to cause a lot of havoc on the roads, and also a lot of roads are closed down. Uber and Lyft do not get special access when it comes to trying to pick people up. So we as drivers have to continue to go around and find the right spot. So if you don't, as a driver, know exactly where that is to get to the event or venue, you might have to go all the way around the stadium or the arena or whatever it might be to get to that actual pickup zone. But either way, we're going to get stuck in traffic. So just remember that we probably will be there at some point. It's just not going to be immediately. And if you don't see the car moving quickly, that's because they're stuck in traffic. All right, so that is the tips that I have for passengers when it comes to going to events and getting picked up from events, whether it's a sporting event or just a large event at venue. Those are a few things. Now, if you have any other comments or suggestions, make sure you comment in the comments below and put out some comments there. Now, also, if it's specific to your stadium, your arena, your event, or your market, make sure you put in what market that might be if it's specific, because what happens is it's not going to be the same all over the place. But if it's a general, tip, comment below. But if it's something much more specific, just make sure you put where that location is, so anybody else who's sees this that's in that area knows that where it's specific. All right, so now on to the drivers for tips and tricks before and after certain events when you are driving. First, before the event even happens, before the season may even begin, whatever it might be, just research the pickup zones. and if there's drop-off zones, where they are in location to the event. So if you're out driving and get a ride before the event starts, if there's a drop-off zone, you'll know where that might be versus just having to follow the maps. Also, it's good to make sure you research this, because whether you're a new driver or a veteran driver, they can change, and they can change frequently depending on what's going on in that area. Whether that lot, that pickup zone has changed hands and gone somewhere else, or they decided it was better and easier to go somewhere else. So make sure you research where that is. How you can do that, you can check local Facebook groups, you can go to the hub centers, you can talk to different drivers that you know, you can go to websites, check the news. All these different places are going to have the ability to find out where pickup and drop-off zones are for that event, for that arena, stadium, whatever it might be. As I just hinted, know if your event has a drop-off zone, because not all places will have drop-off zones. They might only just have pickup zones. So just make sure you know if you have a drop-off zone in your area, so you do comply with where you have to drop people off. And don't allow people to get out of your car in the middle of the road or somewhere close by. Take them to the spot, just because if somebody is right there, that's right there watching and sees everything, especially a police officer, because they're prevalent in that area, making sure everybody's safe. You want to make sure that you don't do that, so you stay in accordance. You could get deactivated, all that bad stuff. So just stick to the drop-off zones and that if there are any. If not, don't worry about it. Drop the passengers off in a nice, safe area. So after you know where the pickup and drop-off zones are for the events, make sure you research and figure out what the road closures are, because the larger the event, the more road closures are going to have, and the way they're going to fluctuate traffic. So then all the people that are attending that event will have a little bit quicker of a way of getting home and getting away from that area. So just make sure you research and know the road closures and what route is going to be best. So if you are getting a ping from a ride from that event after it's ended, you know exactly where to go to get to that location as quick as possible, instead of trying to make all these turns and go all this different way just to get to that same pickup zone. So just be smart about it. You can research that. All the local arenas and stadiums and events are going to publish if they are going to close roads. So it's very easy to do a nice little search, whether it's in the news or on the website, or actually going to the arena or stadium's webpage itself or the team's page itself. They'll have all of that information on there for you, so at least you know where to go if you get that ping. Also, when the event is done, that's when most road closures do happen, although some might happen before the event, depending on what type of event it is. So just make sure you're aware of that when you're researching as well. And then also, once you're done researching that, find the best routes and areas to take away from that pickup zone. So when they're leaving the event, you may have the best way to go or get away, trying to find back roads where there's not a lot of traffic and you can kind of maneuver things a little bit quicker. Whether you take a couple of extra turns and it might go a little bit away, overall it's probably going to be quicker. So your passenger is going to like that. Just let them know what you're going to be doing too. Just say, hey, this is a little bit of a shortcut instead of waiting in line, waiting in traffic. There's these couple of roads that I can go down and swing back out over here, and it'll be a little bit quicker for you. They're going to be happy about that for sure. Now, those are tips to do before the event even takes place. So this isn't the day of when people are actually going, but before the event. So now let's talk about actually before the event itself. So when you're out on driving a shift and you are about to start driving people to the event, just drive normal, really. Wait for a ping to come in. If they're going to that event, great, you take them there. Like I say, just know if there's a drop-off zone, know if there's road closures, because the GPS may not know that. So you want to know where you're going and get them there the quickest. But other than that, just drive normal. Now, if you're driving after the event and you plan on being there, one of the best things to know, it's going to be busy, but find a, either a waiting lot or a parking lot or something where you can be nearby, where you can actually get to that pickup zone very quickly. So just kind of, drive around, figure something out before an event takes place. But once that event is going on and it's about to end and you go pull up in that parking lot or that waiting lot and you know where you are, that's going to be good because you can get right out. So after that event, yes, it's busy. And if you are far away from the event, like I was saying a minute ago, and you get that ping, just know those road closures because your GPS will not know it. It will not show it. It just doesn't have that built into it. Maybe one day it will, but currently they don't have that type of capabilities. So like I say, you need to research beforehand if you're away. Because it's so busy, they're going to be pulling drivers from all over the area, not just something that's going to be localized. So you could be 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes away on a clear day, but just know the GPS will not be right when it comes to the road closures. So if you plan on driving after the event, find a lot, find a waiting area. If you can sit in the pickup zone, because some places will have enough parking for that before a ride comes in. Just make sure you know the rules also of the pickup zone. Did forget to mention that, but know the rules of the pickup zone and the drop-off zone so if you can wait there or not. Because some places you may be able to wait, some you may not. One of the big things too, if you're far away and you get a ping for picking up a ride, if you're stuck in traffic somewhere, or something's going on, there's a new road closure, or you just didn't know, call the passenger and let them know where you are and what you're doing, that you're planning on getting there, and it's just going to take some time. If you call them, let them know, they're probably going to be pretty cool about it. If they cancel, hey, guess what? Then you get your $5. You'll probably get a new ride right away going to the same spot. So just continue on. But yes, just call them and let them know. More than likely, they're going to know there's 60, 70, 80,000 people that may be leaving the event at the same time. So they'll be understanding much more than some other time. Also, when you are there, make sure you call them and let them know exactly where you are when it comes to the pickup zone. So then that way they can find you and you can get in and out a lot quicker. So call them right when you get in and you know exactly where you are. Now, depending on how your setup is, that can be different, but for most setups, it's just you pull into a spot and then you wait for them to come so just make sure that you call them and let them know exactly where you are. Sometimes it's easiest just to stay on the phone with them until you can actually see who they are and see that they see you. That's usually the best thing to do, especially when it's very, very busy and you have much, much larger events like the 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people events. So yes, give them a call right when you get there as well too. And extra verification that you have the correct passenger, and then just extra verify their drop off on where they're going, because when you type it in, they might not be from that area or they might not be familiar with that area. They could be 30, 45 minutes away, whatever it could be. So when they type in their GPS location, it might not take them to the closest address that would be theirs. It could take them to a closer address to where they actually are. So just pay attention to that and verify the entire address. So the number, the street, and the actual, maybe the zip code or the town, village, city, whatever it might be, just to double check and triple check those things so you know exactly where they're going and they know that they're in the right car, all that good stuff. And then just know you're going to wait in traffic. Again, you are not privy over any other vehicle on the road. The only ones who are privy are police and emergency vehicles. So don't expect to do that. But if you know some certain shortcuts, just let them know where you're going so you can get them out quicker, and they're going to be much happier about that. So like I say, but one final note to remember, if you are planning on working an event, know where the good waiting lot is, so then you don't have to worry about getting a ping being far away and then trying to get there, because once you get towards that location, there's going to be a lot of traffic you're going to be sitting in, and it's not going to be fun. So try to get that lot beforehand, so you know exactly where you should be sitting, and then if you get a ping for a ride, you're right there very quickly. All right, and that is it for the driver's side of tips and tricks. If there are any other tips and tricks that you want to put, make sure to comment below and let me know, let everybody else know. And also, if you have anything that's specific to your area, mark it as specific with the area or the arena or the venue or the stadium that you're actually talking about, because it may not be a general. But if it's just general, hey, that's cool, and put the tip there as well too. All right, and one last final thing I'm going to be talking about when it comes to certain locations for arenas and stadiums in particular, and this is the PIN code or the no wait line, call it whatever they want to actually call it, I'm not sure. But how this works is certain arenas and stadiums are experimenting with this, so it might not be in your area, and it's not in several, but there are a few that have this. So anybody that does have this, or the fact that you will be probably getting this down the road, and it's just good to know. So there's the PIN. So what ends up happening is a passenger will order a Uber or Lyft just like normal. The only difference is it will just say like go to pickup location, and you might be in a line with people, with other passengers trying to get rides, and then Uber and Lyft will come up, drivers will come up, and all you do is you just get in the car. It might not be the car because you're not going to know the driver. The driver's not going to know you. The only thing you're going to get is a PIN. It's usually a 6-digit PIN. I don't think they've changed that since I've last heard, but I believe it's a 6-digit PIN. You, as a passenger, share that with the driver, and then that ride will connect at that moment. So that means you will be able to get your location and information directly to the driver. So you are paired with the right passenger and driver at 100% because of that PIN code. And that's when the ride actually will begin, and then you continue on your journey. So drivers, same thing. What happens is you're going to get a ride, ping come in, and it'll tell you to go to the pickup spot. You won't get any driver information. So if you don't get any driver information, just know that you're going to be getting a PIN code. So once you get that PIN from the passenger, you type that in, and then poof, now you know where you're going. You're paired with that passenger. So just know that, like I said, if you get a ping request and there's no driver or no passenger information, it's because you're probably in that area that has that PIN code in place. And it's almost like a no wait thing for the passengers, because they just wait in line. And it's like at airports, like at a taxi cab airport, when you're waiting, you just stand in line. The next cab that comes up, it's your cab, and then you go. So it's kind of the same concept when it comes to Uber and Lyft, when it comes to large events, and they are also doing that at airports. So just know that, because that could be coming to an area near you, or new drivers, if you see that, don't worry, because it's probably a PIN. Just follow the GPS to the pickup location, the pickup zone, as you should, and once you get there, it'll ask for the PIN before the ride starts. All right, if you guys have any other questions, comments, or anything, make sure you comment below as well. That's the end of today's video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for all of our upcoming videos. And as always, never drink and drive, always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.